This evening. First order of business is presentations, Morphle High School AB schedule presentation. Mrs. Campbell.
Jenny, would you be able to help me?
While you're here.
Yes, that's what he's used to with me while you're here.
We are good. We're ready.
While we're getting that set up, I do have some students that we'd like to honor this evening. With us, we have Miss Annie Barr, who traveled to the National FCCLA conference and placed silver there. So I'm gonna let her tell you a little bit about her experience there.
My name is Amy Moore, and I'm the president of our FCCLA chapter at Morphle High School. And I had the honor of attending the National Leadership Conference in Washington, D.C., where I competed and received a silver medal. I was also one of 2 competitors that went to nationals this year from West Virginia. While I was there, I had the opportunity to see the Capitol, the Botanic Garden, and the White House. I also did a ton of trading pins with many other people from many other states, which was really cool. And overall, it was an amazing experience, and I'll always remember it. And I really enjoyed getting to go represent West Virginia because there was not really anybody there from West Virginia, and meet other members. I was very thankful that my mom was able to come with me too to experience everything. And I'm very grateful for FCCLA and everyone who has supported me along the way. So thank you.
Congratulations.
And we also have 2 state degree recipients for FFA chapter with us. We have Addison Hunt and Miss Riley Reel, and I'll let them tell a little bit about their experiences.
Hi everyone, I'm Addison Hunt, the Morphle High School FFA president. We attended Ripley in the summer. 10 people received their state degree, and then in October, 9 people received their American degree.
Hi, I'm Riley Reel. I'm your secretary for FFA and also your student body president for the school. So what is the state degree? You have to invest at least $1,000 in your SAE project. You have to be an active member for 2 years. And this is a required step if you want to later on get your American. And I proudly share that I'm going to be running for state office next year.
Yay. Very good. Very good. Good job, Wayne.
Congratulations.
Jeanette, how many state degrees did you have this summer?
This year, total of 10.
Wow.
9 Americans at national convention.
It's awesome. It's very good. It's impressive. Good job, guys.
Pens for you, ladies.
I'm gonna let you continue to struggle with my computer. This is an example of
Congratulations.
what a student schedule would look like at Marshall High School with our AB schedule that we're starting this year.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
There are obviously new classes in there, but they would have breakfast from 7:30 to 7:50. Then they would go to homeroom. From homeroom, they will report to period 1. And the reason that we're having homeroom instead of an extended first period is because our students are put into their flex classes by homeroom. So they select their flex for that day in their homeroom. So they have to be with the same people, basically, or the teacher won't be able to ensure that they have actually signed up appropriately for the day. They will transition from first to third and then to flex, then they'll go to lunch, they'll have 5A, and then they'll have period 7. And it's odd on A day and even on B day. So a B day schedule would look exactly like this, only it would be period 2, period 4, period 6A, and period 8. And the 5A and 5C and 5 have to be in there because we have to run 3 lunch shifts. So we have to be able to accommodate the number of students we have safely in a cafeteria. And that's why it's separated that way. And then I believe I was also asked for a master schedule. So what it would look like, unfortunately, there are some blanks on here just because we haven't solidified approvals for some of our staff members quite yet.
Oh, yeah.
A is on one side and B is on the other. The blacked out parts would be for a teacher that is not there all day because we share so many of our teachers. That's why you're going to see some blacked out areas. And then also for our lunch shifts, because a teacher will have a lunch and a class that pair up. So if I have 5A class, then I have first lunch. If I have 5C class, I have third lunch. And if I have a fifth period class, I would have fifth period, then lunch, then fifth period again. And those classes have been designed so that they're not interrupting things like PE and sciences where you would have to prepare and then go back to class.
He keeps on jumping off the Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi has not been our friend today.
No, it hasn't.
I did update the computer earlier today, so. it
Well,
should be
Oh,
updated.
it's the TV, it's not your computer.
Just been one of those days.
It has
Yes,
been
it
one of
has.
those days. Indeed, it has.
Maybe that's why my printer's not.
Say, my printer wasn't working earlier and Tony walked in the building and then it worked.
Say now,
It's been up and down all day.
explain to me again, you said they go to homeroom, and that's where they're put into their flex classes for
Yes,
the day. Now, did you mention 10? They have to have,
So it's a 10-day rotation, but it's not 10 different, it doesn't have to be 10 different flex activities. One day will be for math designated, so the teachers will assign the students they want to work with and know that they need to work with in their math classes, because we don't have an interventionist this year. So our teachers are happy to provide that intervention piece for our students. So if I know my student is struggling and they have an F or they have a D, or they're just not getting the concept, I assign them to myself and they don't get to choose where they go that day. The same with ELA, there'll be a separate day for that, a separate day for science, and a separate day for social studies. Now, if I'm a student who does not need any kind of remediation, I can choose a club that day. Because the other teachers who are not teaching math will be running their clubs.
And give them an example as to what those clubs might be.
So I know when I was looking over it, there was a pinata making club, there's gamers clubs, there's social studies fair club, so it's a mix. There's board games. It can reach a lot of different students rather than just being your average club.
Yeah.
And our teachers are still, some of them self-selecting what clubs they want to sponsor, because as part of Leader in Me, which we're going to be implementing this year,
Mhm.
teachers also need to have that buy-in and want to do their club, because if you don't want to run the club that you're running, you're not going to have a lot of enthusiasm to share that passion with your students. So we want to make sure that they also have a say in what they're running rather than just
You have to
constant
do
study
this.
hall. Now, they can do study halls, but they don't have to. So if the teacher's like, you know what, I would like to do gamer club, I would like to do study hall, and I would like to do social studies fair, I can run all of those clubs just on different days.
So a student doesn't know until homeroom where he or she will be during the flex period.
They can sign up during that time. So they have up until then to change their mind. They can sign up the day before, and the teachers can put it in the day before so that they can see where they're gonna be going. And this is something that they implement at Morgantown High School, which is the school that we've modeled. Just because they have been such an academic powerhouse in our state, I believe that they are in the top 5 schools for our state. And so this is part of the intervention that they use there. And then one day is for clubs for everyone, so that a student who maybe needs remediation in math, English, social studies, and science, but also does FFA, so they have an organization meeting in their rotation, has at least one day of club time.
so how long is that flex period? Because I was trying to figure out here, and I see that the minutes at the top, that they change.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Class
go
to
over
class.
that through this if that's
Okay,
okay.
I'll hang
Now
tight.
that it's actually working.
Flex period.
Thank you, Tony.
Yes, thank you, Tony, I appreciate
Glad you
it.
were here.
Don't leave Tony till the
Um,
meeting's over.
It will
I gotta
crash.
get an hour, I gotta get to it.
It will crash your soar. So this is RY. Over the last year, we have received feedback from our students, our parents. They brought their concerns to our LSIC, our student leadership team, and our leadership team. and we've had it from all directions. One of the concerns is the workload balance with 8 classes a day. Another is homework load due to only 45 minutes of class time. Discipline incidents increased because of the transition increase in the unstructured time, which we all know unstructured time leads to discipline issues. Decreased instructional time due to transitions and exit and entrance strategies, I'll get it out in a second, that are needed. So we use APL at our school, and teachers are required to do a bell ringer and an exit. So that takes up time from that instructional 45 minutes. So if you compare the 180-day year with an AB period schedule and an 8 period, we lose about 1,620 minutes a year just in transitions. And then our students also have, last year we offered 5 AP classes. Students can take 10 dual enrollment credits through college a year. And we have 7 CTE programs running. So that's not including extracurriculars and sports and if they have a job. And it becomes a huge stress for our students who we already are working with SEL to support their social emotional learning, and it's really difficult when we're putting more pressure on them. The 8 period day was great when I was in school because we had 2 AP courses and you could take 2 college classes, and that was about it unless you played sports. You had FFA. But now we've increased our opportunities for our students, which is amazing. Our school is absolutely amazing because of the comprehensive high school that it is, and because of our teachers and our students who are willing to participate in these activities. But we have to be able to also be able to support them balancing that, because as we all know, as we grow, we learn how to balance commitments and responsibilities and things we've signed up for. But at a high school level, we aren't always great at really balancing those things. So we have to help our students out. This is our flex time. It's a 35-minute period that rotates on a 10-day cycle. And this is the time that we do our MTSS support. Without those interventionists that we used to have, we've gone from 2 to 0 in the past 2 years. Enrichment for excellence. So students who may need support for SAT, they want to take extra support for that. Mr. Rush, I believe, has an SAT prep club that he's going to offer, so they can work in that. So that we can also look at our graduation rate and increasing that. We can offer credit recovery during this time. We can have our organization meetings. Right now, our students come at 7:30 in the morning, not all of them drive, to be at their NHS meetings, student council meetings, FFA meetings, FCCLA meetings, because otherwise we're eating away at that 45-minute period that they have dedicated to a course. So this offers some built-in time for these organizations to be able to meet and have meaningful communication among our students. Social emotional learning can happen during this. Our Leader in Me lessons can occur during this time. And then, of course, like we talked about already, the teacher assigned support. Did that answer your question about flex time, Ms. Lee? Okay.
It sure did.
Okay.
I do have a question. You
Okay.
say it operates on a 10-day rotation.
That's what this looks like.
Oh, okay.
Yep, so this is an example from Morgantown High School that they were willing to share with us. And so this is an ELA teacher. So Goodreads Uninterrupted, AP Lang Study Hall, Goodreads Uninterrupted again, or Uninterrupted. Again, the study hall, the Uninterrupted Reading, Study Hall, Uninterrupted Reading, Prism Club, and then Goodreads Uninterrupted. So we mix it up so that it's not the same thing every day for our teachers and our students. But this is an example of what that would look like. And this is the actual Flex Scheduler. We have a program for eHall Pass that runs on Securely. And so this also runs on that same platform, Securely, that we already use for our eHall Pass. And so the Flex Scheduler, students go in, they sign up, and then we can make sure that they are where they're supposed to be.
Okay, for example, if I was having a heck of a time with math and signed up for math, so I would get it once every 10 days, I'd get extra help.
Unless you signed up for it more often.
So I could sign up for it every day if I wanted.
Yes. If that teacher is already giving that for the day, then yes. If I'm a student that wants extra support, I can get that as often as the teacher's offering it.
Or the teacher can say, you're getting it, except for that one day.
Absolutely, absolutely. The teacher, and that's what we want, is we want the teacher to assign to the students they know need help, but we also want the students who feel like they need help, that maybe I'm a B student and I want to be an A student, I can go and get help if it's a study hall time.
And how many students can that teacher take care of?
We set a max.
Of what?
We haven't determined the max because we have to look at who's honoring or opening that area. So like if it's a PE activity, we can have more students in that club with 2 teachers. But if I have 1 teacher in a classroom, it's gonna need to be limited just like we limit our regular classroom. So it would be 30 or under, if that makes sense. So it's not like a set amount right now because we wanna make sure, if you have 2 teachers in there, you don't wanna say you can only have 28 students when another teacher has 28 and 1 person. So, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave you the example schedule already and you had a little bit of time. Are there any questions about this? These are the advantages that we see for students. They can balance their workload, take advantage of the opportunities that MHS has to offer. Like I said before, we have CTE programs, student organizations, 10 credits of college courses per year that they can take, AP courses, clubs, and athletics. Create a continuity of instruction in core classes throughout the year. So this isn't like block scheduling before where they take it in the fall and they don't have it again until the next year. So this is all year long, but it gives us the benefits of longer periods, just like a block would. It reduces cognitive cost of context switching. And so what that means, if you haven't read a lot about context switching, is what you experience every day when you go from doing one thing to another. You have to give your brain a little bit to adjust to what you're doing. And when you're on an 8-period day, you're constantly context switching. So this helps reduce that. Prepare students for a college or technical school schedule, because in college or in a technical school, you're not going to have the same classes every day. You're going to have some space in between. It embeds time for differentiation and intervention, and students will be able to take 8 classes while having time for their flex. So this flex time is something that we've not had before. We've not had clubs. We've not had the opportunity for intervention that's just specific for intervention without an interventionist being in charge of that, which helps us because that interventionist at a high school level is much different than an interventionist at an elementary school level. At a high school level, you need to be a master of whatever that content is in order to help a student. And so finding an interventionist that's going to be equally an expert in math and in ELA and in science, it's like looking for a unicorn. It's very difficult. So this helps us be more effective. This is just some research if you want to look any of it up. The EPPI Center did a study and found evidence that AB block scheduling produces higher science results than traditional scheduling. Lewis and Cobb in 2003 said AB scheduling shows greatest increase for low-performing students. Rice, Cronier, and Rolek, can't pronounce that correctly, sorry. In 2002, longer periods of time are more beneficial for student learning outcomes. Zepeda and Mayers in 2006 provided evidence of improving GPA and school climate. And then this references Paul Mihilko and Morgantown High School's administration team. They met with us, with our leadership team, and with Mrs. Meese and myself alone some, just through Teams, and walked us through what they've seen since they started this. And they've seen great gains in academics, and a lot of their middle schools are actually going to this scheduling just because it works better for them. It helps them support their kids.
So the legislature has said that, gee, we don't go by hours anymore. We go by minutes. We have to have so many minutes. Does that start this year or
Not by-
next year?
By days, but by a certain number of minutes a year. That'll be
Yeah.
this coming, yeah. We will plan this year for a calendar the following year that's based on that.
Okay, I knew that was
950
coming.
minutes.
And how about the extra minutes that we try to accrue?
This year,
for
those
snow.
30 additional minutes still count to receive those those 5 free days, the banked time minutes, yeah,
Okay.
that still counts, yeah.
Okay.
And so we have 345 minutes that we have to have, and we have 375.
That 375, this will be.
Yes.
And what about, tell me on this period about snow days. Like if you have a 1 hour delay, a 2 hour delay, a 3 hour delay, when the students will come in and how they'll make up that lost time.
So on an AB schedule, it makes it incredibly easy when we have a snow day because the next day they come back, they're just on whatever day they should have been had we had school. So if I'm on an A day and the next day is a snow day, that should have been a B day. When I come back, we're on B day. And that helps us make sure that our special education minutes are also covered so that students aren't having lapses in that time. And I will pull
Well,
up.
now that's assuming that they don't go at all.
Right, I'm pulling up the delay schedule right now,
Okay.
which is the same as how it would be now, even though on an 8-period day, you have the same situation happening. All right, Tony.
You did.
Yeah.
You unplugged it, I was like,
Oh, no. All right.
that's okay. What's yours?
Do you know the magic?
Sometimes.
Okay. So this is what it looks like for a 1 hour delay, 2 hour delay, and a 3 hour delay. And then we're back on regular schedule as soon as those times go. And this is exactly how it was set whenever we had an 8-period day and block. So we're not changing that up at all.
So you're just decreasing the time. Could we maybe get a copy of that?
Yeah, oh, sure.
I just think it'd be interesting. to-
Maybe you could just email us your PowerPoint if you could. That'd be
Absolutely.
great. Thank you.
Do you have any other questions I can help with?
I want to thank you for coming. That explained a lot to me. The flex schedule had no idea what it was.
You did a great job with the presentation.
I think that is an excellent thing for the student that needs help for your clubs, for your FFAs, your DECA and all those. Gives them a chance to be there and not lose classroom time that way.
And
This
intervention.
is Right,
And intervention,
Yeah,
right,
it's a huge
exactly.
piece.
it's good.
Would you be able to give us a list of what the clubs are?
Sure, as soon as they're all assigned, I'll be happy to email that over.
The only thing that bothered me was on that second line in Morgantown. It said 2 or 3 things, and then the last choice was study hall. I think study hall, my personal opinion is that study halls are a complete waste.
They can be, absolutely. It depends on how they're ran. And for how long. If you have them in there for an 83-minute study hall, that's excessive. But I think 35 minutes, it's a lot easier to keep kids on task.
But a study hall available would eliminate a kid having the excuse, I didn't have time to
Absolutely.
get the homework done.
Yeah.
So there are advantages.
And that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to marry the advantages of a block schedule and an 8-period day and give them as much support as we can without taking opportunities away.
Yeah, it's good. You did a good job on that.
I'm appreciative of Mrs. Mace, who hooked us up with Paul Nahelko, who is her mentor. And so it took me a long time to wrap my head around flex. And so I'm right there with you, sir. Well, thank you guys, I appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for the
Thanks
time
so
you spent
much.
on that also.
Well, good luck to you.
Bet
I've
you
never
you
been a
gonna
fan
like it.
of block, but it sounds
I think it's also great to provide at least 4 of your educators,
Mr.
or
Harper
at
was
least
saying something.
4 of your teachers came in support. I think it's a great sign too. That's what the school likes. So.
Mr. Harper, you want to say that again? Someone was talking?
Sure. I appreciate you coming in, and I wish you good luck, because most people know I'm not a fan of block, never have been. I've lived through it, but this sounds like it does have a chance to sort of to be successful. So good luck.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I think the big concern about block scheduling for me is making sure the time is filled productively and not big shutdown at the end of half hour before class should be over and kids doing nothing. So that's putting you all on the spot to know that we expect, what, an hour and 23 minutes of good, strong teaching.
I believe our teachers will use it wisely.
Anyone else have any comments, anything you want to say? We appreciate you all coming for sure. And good
Thank
luck
you.
on it. And it sounds like you have a plan. And I think it's going to work for you.
Leslie's with the LSIC.
I am, and the
Yeah.
parent of 2 high schoolers now, and I think both of them are going to be appreciative of that schedule, and I do think it's going to reduce the stress level. I think there's going to be more sleep from some of those student athletes and those that are doing other extracurriculars.
Yeah.
Whereas they come home and, just as you mentioned, the study hall can be wasteful. I think students can make the most of that, especially your productive students, your can-doers are going to see that as time to, instead of trying to stay up when they're exhausted, I can catch 20 minutes to do that worksheet.
Oh, absolutely, as long
Yeah.
as people aren't, having a party in this corner of the room.
Right.
And you're, that's where it becomes a real problem, I think.
If it's used well, if it's used as it should be used, I think it's a great
Yeah,
thing.
it is good.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you all for coming. Certainly
Thanks.
appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Appreciate you.
I thank you for the veggies you brought sent to us last time, and I'm glad to see, produce being offered to the public.
Absolutely, we got rolling.
That's great.
You all can stay, you don't have to leave.
Oh, thank you. But this time, we're asking.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they need to go home and get to bed.
us have clothes on.
Have a great day tomorrow. That's right, that's right.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell.
Everybody leaves. You did a great job, Ms. Campbell.
Next on the agenda is special education updates. Ms. Barb?
You guys have this information in your packet, I believe, 34 page.
Yeah, that was quite something to read, I must say.
It's a lot. I brought it up because obviously your copy is in black and white, so it'll be a little bit easier to see up here. The first page is the annual determination letter. This goes along with the ADA report that I reviewed with you guys some time ago. They send out the report and then they send the letter much later, like a couple of months later. But this one was actually revised. You can see it's revised up there because the state actually determined that they had miscalculated some things. Fortunately, we were still good. Some counties their determinations went lower after they had realized the calculations that they had done were incorrect, but that was not successful. So this is just the letter that tells everything that they were looking at. And the second page says that we do meet requirements. I'm going to pull up this part. This is the part, if you remember, the ADA report that had all the red and the green sections. This is everything broken down. So these indicators are telling you specifically, and some of them are for the current year, some of them are for a year past. So that's another reason that there's a new lady at the state in there a couple of years. She's really good at creating these types of documents to help better explain things. So you can see that this was based on the 24-25 year data for the first indicator, which is graduation. And then all of them get the state target, the state rate, our LU rate, and then it's based on points possible. So you can see that we earned the whole point there. And then we had earned a point last year, so that's why we don't have a growth point. It's not applicable for us because we had met that last year as well. Same way with dropout, the participation rate. Usually we're really good for that. Here you can see there's like one student that didn't take the test, but we still had all of the points possible for that. And this just goes on to the next indicator, which is the proficiency rates. Of course, this is the thing that the whole state's struggling with. Typically, they would have each LEA determine what they wanted to focus on for special education. And it could have been a graduation rate or pre-K outcomes, whatever. But this year, they had everyone in the state for special ed focused on the proficiency rate because it's just so lacking across the state. So the state is actually, they're doing some initiatives like the Strive to try to help the entire state with some different resources and things to help with the proficiency for the assessment rates. And every year, the rate that we're expected increases. We've asked, eventually that's going to be 100% because eventually, they keep increasing even though it's a small percentage. So I foresee that they'll have to do some changes to this, or at some point they'll have to, I guess, cap it. But they haven't gotten to that point yet to really mention it, but
Now the GS, and I see where you gave us this
yes.
thing, but on that page 108, it says assessment proficiency rate, and I think it says GSA. What does that stand for?
The general summative assessment, that's the 3rd through 8th graders take that assessment. So that's the end.
Through 8,
Yes, that's the end of the year assessment.
right, because the 11th take the SAT.
Correct. And I'm sorry, which page are you on?
It's actually page 2. It's numbered 108 at the bottom.
I got page
It's-
4, 102.
It's that page.
This page?
Yeah.
Okay. I tried to number it for you because I know
Page
there's
4.
several different documents
Yeah, I
here.
see you have 4 on there.
Okay, thank you. All right, so let's scroll on down. Indicator 4A is the suspension, an expulsion greater than 10 days. You can see the state rate was 1.53, we were well below at 0.45, so we earned a higher point there. The educational environment, these are the LRE, or the least restrictive environment codes for our students. So they want our students mainly in general education full-time or the LRE of 0. Then you can see the state
So
rate to 60,
LR,
least restrictive environment,
okay,
which would be the environment that's least restrictive for the student to be able to make
Sure.
progress and learn. So they try to keep us under 1% for the students with the most severe disabilities. Those are the ones that take the ASA or the alternate assessment. And you can see that we're well above the state rate or the target for the LRE of 0. So those would be like integrated classes where students with IEPs receive their services 100% in the general ed environment. We have only 4% that have LRE of 2, meaning that they would have, be in a separate class, less than 40%, or I'm sorry, in the regular class 40% of the time. So those would be in the special ed class greater than that.
so that'd be 2 students, right?
Not necessarily, just the LRE, the code is 2.
Okay,
Yeah.
Welcome to Beth's world.
Yes.
yeah, this is all,
Acronyms and
Secret
codes and,
stuff.
oh,
Tons of codes and things, yes. 5C, the indicator for students that are placed out of state or homebound, things like that. We only have a few, you can see 0.24 students. I know we had, I think, 2 homebound students last year for the last several years. Indicator 6 is pre-K environments, so those students that are in the regular early childhood program, their LREs are W and Y. I'm not sure why, but that was those were the codes that were given to us out of state. So, and then if they're in a separate class, they are in N and P. We have none of those, and none on homebound instruction in pre-K. The 7A through 7C are high school
God bless you.
outcomes. So those are measured twice each year based on the preschool students for their social emotional, their growth and their achievement. And that they're compared to themselves, so it's each student. It's not like comparing them to preschool students across the country or anything. They're being compared to themselves. 7B is the knowledge and skills, and C is the behavior, the growth and achievement. And we've met all of the indicators there. You can see for the results matrix overall, we earned 16.3 points out of a possible 17.5, so 93.14%.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yes, it is. The next part's the compliance part. These are things like, we have to have the suspension and expulsion rate by race and ethnicity, for greater than 10 days. So sometimes I feel like when we meet this, it's kind of a fluff, because for smaller counties, if you were to have 1 or 2 students that were of a different race or ethnicity that was suspended and they had an IEP, we could look disproportionate. And we've had that several years ago, but fortunately here lately, we've been good with that. But again, with smaller counties, sometimes, like to me, you really couldn't write a plan for that, because it would be something like, well, you would have to just not have those kids enrolled, which isn't right or fair. And especially here, since we do have that large population.
So what's FAPE mean?
FAPE is that all the students are getting what they need based on IDEA.
Free and appropriate public education.
It means what?
Free and appropriate public education.
Okay.
And that's a term.
And these
again, that's-
people are nuts.
And that's something that we have to determine, that we have to check off on every IEP that students are getting FAPE. The next part is general supervision. So all of these are things like the timelines. So like our IEPs were completed within a year. Transition, early childhood transition, so kids going from birth to 3 into pre-K, all of that was done within the timelines. Secondary transition, which are the students, once they turn 14, we have some secondary transition plans where we talk to the students about what they want to do after high school, what sorts of programs and things are available for them, talking to them about DRS, the Department of Rehab Services, and sometimes they can come in and help students pay tuition for things, or buy them computers, or buy them tools if they want to go to VOTEC, things like that. So we help make those plans as well. But, excuse me, the next page here is the second page of the compliance ADA stuff. So general supervision is indicator 18. We met that with 100%. We have other compliance data. This is if we have had monitoring and accountability. And you can see that it was not applicable because at this time, we had not been monitored yet. This is for the on-site monitoring that we just had. And then you can see here, these are all the reports and collections and things that we do, and then we turn in and submit to the state. So all of those were timely and accurate, so we got a point for each of those. So we earned 19 out of 19 points for the compliance portion. The next part is just the overall, explains that we met requirements. They take all of the points from the results indicators and the compliance indicators and put those together. And then the last few years, they've included a couple bonus points too, for different things, like we do post-graduation grants. So if we do that, we get some bonus points for that. So overall, we have 98.77% compliance.
That's great. So what you mentioned earlier that that they made a mistake and you saw it and notified them. What had they made a mistake in?
Not me, they figured that out. I always go through and double check everything, and I have had instances where our numbers based on my calculation was not correct, and I've told them about that. But there's a new lady at the State Department, she goes back and double checks everything, and she's really good at that. So they made a mistake, which I was like, oh my golly, because they said that, it could be that your points could go up or down. Ours stayed the same. So when I saw we were the same, I didn't really check
Yeah.
into what was
Thank you,
wrong.
Lord.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, some counties went from, you have to be at 80% compliant, and some went down to 79.8. Yeah, so they were really upset. All right, on your packet, I also have information about our recent cyclical monitoring, which starts on page 10, which is the handwritten numbers at the bottom. So this is our monitoring report. Remember last school year, we had the on-site monitoring. So this is the report that was sent to Dr. Van Meter, and then page 11 gives some information about it. They were actually here in March, and then we received this notification May 27th. So after they came, it takes them up to 3 months to review everything, go back, and then send us this report. And then this has all of our findings and things that we needed to correct. Second, here's what's in here with the colors and things. All right, so you can see over here, if you take a quick look at your packet, back on page 31, here at the end, that is the key, the monitoring key. So if you look at page 31 through 34, those are all of the things that are reviewed when we have an on-site monitoring. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention first before I start reviewing.
Yeah, I looked at that. It's like,
A lot of things.
well, it would be really difficult. I mean, I don't care how smart you are. It would be really difficult to always get the right code.
Yeah. You are
You know,
absolutely
there's
right.
similarities, so.
You're right. So if you go back to what is page 12 in your report, I believe this is correct. Yep. You can see, again, I know it was hard to see on that copy being black and white. So you can see here, the things that are in green, kind of like the ADA, you're compliant in. So you can see for AF1, that's page 12.
You're better off to look up there. It's much
Yeah.
clearer up there. It's-
Yeah,
It just
So
didn't
you
come
can
out.
see that,
still can't see it.
with the code, and I'm not sure how to get this to be on one big page, it just came up like this.
Will it zoom in for you?
I guess they have
There you go.
names and stuff, this,
It does when I get to that.
because I got a magnifying glass out.
I can't. I don't
That
know.
helps a little bit, yeah.
To do one page at a time like the other one did. But you can see the things that we are compliant in, and then the ones that are in red, I'll go over more in depth here in a minute. And you can see that all of these things are due to the State Department by October 9th in order to be cleared. So the findings, once they find those things that we need to correct, then they give us time to fix those or make those corrections.
So they pulled 10 documentation on 10 students.
23. Pulled 23 students. It just depends. I'll show you. Hold that thought for a second.
Okay,
Let me go over this part first. I'm
Okay.
afraid if I go to that and come back, I will mess it all up. But the first things, these were by school. So the administrative findings and recommendations. So for instance, like AF1 is discipline by review. We didn't have the administrative findings because we actually didn't have any students. We had one and she had moved, so they didn't even review that file. For certifications and caseloads, we had 6, but all of those have been cleared. Some of those were because long-term subs, even though I had submitted the documentation that we had continued to post for those, they needed additional postings to show that we were continuing to post for those. Some LEAs, once they get a long-term sub, they're just like, okay, we're good, and they don't continue to post. And of course,
So that's been resolved then, because I mean, I had to highlight, a lot of them says does not have, do not
Yes.
have, do not have.
Yeah, like I said, 1 and 2, it was because,
Yeah, she was a sub, I'm not.
yes. And then 3 and 5,
4 or 5 and 6 folks do not hold proper certification.
and they do. They do. It was just not uploaded. They were working on it at the time, or it was one of those things where it hadn't been added at the State Department yet. But
Where their records were behind ours.
yes,
Okay.
yes, but all of those have been cleared. For, let's see, AF4 for classroom location size at East Harding High School, they noticed that there were some students. What happens over there is because there's so few students overall, and then the ones that have IEPs, the ratios end up exceeding what their expectations are. For instance, this year we have 40 eighth graders and 19 have IEPs, so it's impossible to get the class below 30%. It's just mathematically impossible to do that. So that's what that finding is about.
But it should, if they're intermediate, it always has to be less than 30%.
Or it can be 30 to 50% if it is a co-taught class, and these were integrated classes. The difference is an integrated class means that the student does not receive services, they just receive accommodations. So typically a special ed teacher is not in those classes, it's the general ed teacher providing the accommodations. But once you get 30 to 50%, it's supposed to be a co-taught class. So we have to,
With 2 certified teachers.
yes,
One special ed and one regular.
Regular.
yes. For Moorfield, it's the AF5, the specially designed instruction at Moorfield Middle. The teachers had a hard time articulating what specially designed instruction was, or SDI. I think that's because, and this has already been clear also, once we spoke with Moorfield Middle, they did trainings the very next day, actually. We had a PL day the next day after I received this report, and they actually did training the next day to get everyone on board. So that's been cleared also. But I think it was more of a misunderstanding with just the terminology.
Yeah,
'Cause it used-
SDI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It used to be specialized instruction or differentiated instruction is kind of the buzzword. And now it's more of the SDI, specially designed instruction. The next part was in Moorfield Elementary School. And I'm sure you probably know there was a self-contained classroom there. And we did have 2 long-term subs in the room, a very difficult class. So there was a finding, the day they were there were 5 students and 5 adults, I believe, and 7 students. So in their opinion, it was just too many adults with the students. So they wanted us to correct the action. We have to separate classrooms and put in a very clear schedule. So that's something that I've already working with Ms. Mullen on. So we have a plan in place for that, even though we're still going to continue to have substitutes in the room. And Marsha Hahn goes there a lot to support that room.
I'm sure that'll be a real positive thing.
Yes. Let's see, the next part, these are all recommendations. So the ones that are findings, we have corrective actions. Those are the things that we have to correct and show documentation on October 9th. The recommendations are just that, the recommendations from the State Department, those monitoring team for these schools. And again, all of these things have been shared with the schools as well.
So,
Go ahead.
oh, you go ahead.
The creative action there, Moorfield Elementary School must adjust and lay out, number 1, create a new classroom. Do they have room
Yes.
to create a new classroom? That school is getting full.
Yes, it is. But because of this, I mean, this is one of the things that we have to do to be compliant. So yes.
And we had 2 teachers in that one classroom already. So what they want us to do, instead of having the 2 teachers in the one room, is to separate them.
Okay,
That's the
I was just
solution.
worried we had another room for them.
Yeah, we do.
Have another teacher
We do.
for them.
Okay, well,
It worked out.
I'm in the same ball field as you, almost on the other side.
You mentioned Moorfield Middle School, and it says it was discovered that their PBIS system was based on punitive and not positive. What's the PBIS?
The positive behavior, support, intervention.
Intervention support, okay.
Sorry, yeah. Which-
So,
And that's something that's in policy 2419, because I know some of the principals were like, why are they asking those questions, PBIS things, not for special ed monitoring, but it is in policy 2419 that all schools have to have a PBIS system in place to help with behaviors and things like that.
Sure, but, I mean, it's kind of natural if someone acts out that they're going to lose something. I mean, I remember years and years ago, it didn't make a difference what you did, they gave you a pencil. Are we gonna have to start handing out pencils again?
I think it's more based on the
That's what
positive,
they did, wasn't it?
Yeah.
meaning like if the student earns something today, then it can't be taken away tomorrow, that sort of thing. So once they work to earn whatever it is, then it can't be taken away. That's kind of the premise of it.
Yeah, I think Moorfield Middle does the bucks, or right, like they get so much money in their student account, and then they have to write a check if they forget their homework, or if they, overuse their bathroom, pass it, they make them write a check. And this particular audit didn't like that process. They wanted them to just be focused on the positive behavior intervention support as opposed to taking things away in a punitive manner. It's just two schools of thought on how things should operate, and state of West Virginia chooses to go with the
I
other.
mean, but see, I would disagree with that, because if you forget to pay your electric bill, there's a fee.
I'm with you, though. I agree with you completely.
Yeah.
You're teaching them backwards of society. If you get a
Yeah.
promotion at work, and then all of a sudden you show up drunk the next day and get fired, guess what? You lost your promotion.
Yeah,
Bless your job.
And
Yeah,
your
you probably
job.
lost your
Bless your lineman.
Yeah. I just think,
I agree with you, Dixie, on that, but anyhow.
and then not positive reinforcements. And I don't know. It's just me, but, say a kid's good all week. It's like you're supposed to, attaboy, give them a pencil or a sticker, or, I know people need encouragement, and, but gee,
Well, you shouldn't need encouragement to behave.
no, you should,
Johnny Taylor had encouragement, it was called a bell.
yeah. And did they offer any suggestion as to what that positive thing could be?
They did, they spoke with the principal, about the system and some things they could do. I wasn't there for those interviews, but I know Mr. Sutler had some ideas about some of those things, about having them not, maybe once they've earned so many things, or if it's something, like giving them an extra chance if they are a student who only forgot, their pencil one time or whatnot, that sort of thing. So they had some ideas.
Do-overs,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it was hard to present some of these things yet to the principals when, again, it's, I don't know, like you said, you may not agree with it, but we have to follow the policy. So.
Oh, sure, I understand that. It's not the reality of life.
And I think, Mrs. Barr, you've got all of these fixed, right? Almost all at this point. Yeah.
You've really been working, I tell
She's
you.
been working very, very hard. She's been working very hard.
If you go to AF7, progress reporting, we had no problem with that. So, of course, all of the teachers have to give progress reports to their students, send those home every reporting period. So all of that was done correctly. We did have two findings for the video cameras in self-contained rooms. There was a blind spot in one at the middle school and one at East Hardy High. So those cameras, additional cameras have been purchased. I believe the one has been installed, the other one is waiting on them to run lines. And then that actually, I have to send the video proof that those have been corrected by August 31st.
So to clarify, the cameras that were in there were working, but underneath of it, there was just like this gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but and it's kind of funny in this report because your threat dates were from August 31st to September 1st to October, was it October 1st? October 9th, okay. And it's like, and I'm sure it doesn't say that in statute.
No.
Right.
In statute, we haven't. But we'll just, we'll be compliant so we can move on, but, let's see, where are we on now? AF10, or other administrative findings, this was at Morgan Elementary School, the special ed teachers could not articulate what they would do if they had a student kicked out of school more than 10 days, how they would give those services. They said, well, we call Mrs. Barr because we've never had that happen. So they didn't like that answer. So I have a
That was
presentation.
passing the buck.
I have a presentation ready for them on Friday to review that procedure with them. And again, it's something that I review every year with all the special ed teachers. We have a beginning of the year meeting, but again, it's something that they've never really experienced. Fortunately, we've not had a lot of pre-K through second grade students that have been to that point of discipline.
So this would be someone who'd be, I mean, they certainly don't need to be out of school, but if they're hurting people, and I figure that's why.
Yes, and I mean, we do this correctly. I mean, if we do have students that are out of school or expelled or whatnot, they have an IEP, we still provide those services, whether it be in the alternative program or virtually or homebound. We've done that in the past too. So we just have to have a plan in place for how we give those services. All right, so we're down to the recommendations from the elementary. I'm not going to read through all that. If you guys have questions about any of those recommendations, I'm happy to talk to you about those. The next portion is, I think, your page 20. This is the file review. So these were the IEPs that they actually pulled. So individual student IEPs, they pulled 23, I believe. So if you notice the numbers here, like they pulled one IEP amendment. So the sample size is how many IEPs they pulled, how many individual ones. So, and then of the one they pulled, it was correct. So we were 100% compliant for that. For prior written notice, even though we're compliant for that, I still have training in place. I'd like for that to be 100%, which is some verbiage on the prior written notice that the state did not like. All of these things, again, the meeting notice, I was really happy about that because this was one of the things that the rest of the folks in the state were not compliant with last year. So I was happy about that part.
Could I ask a question? I'm sorry, Beth, but you don't know how much I appreciate you going through this. Because all these years, this is the most in-depth training I've ever had on it, and I think it's important that we have it. On your page 19, you talked about, they're talking about considering all the needs of those with disabilities, about someone with special ed being on the team.
Yes.
And I wrote, shouldn't this occur in all Hardy County schools? I think that it would be important that it would be because the kids, they do have special needs and special exceptions and.
And typically there has been a special ed representative on there. When, I'm trying to think who left. Someone left that had been on the team at that school. And then Mr. Burks said they just didn't think about putting one back on the team, but now there is. They added one this year.
So he realizes now that you have to replace them right away.
And I believe all of the other schools also have a special ed rep. Almost certain.
We can turn back on if you get to
Any other questions about those recommendations?
what?
I just thought when page 17 of ours, it said recommendations support teachers with classroom management, behavior interventions. And I don't know who's responsible for that?
Well, the principal really, I mean, and this was one of the things that I know I've had discussions with my PACE group. The last time we were monitored, they really didn't give recommendations about the overall class, like the general ed setting, because since it's a special education monitoring. But the new monitoring team feel that it's, it's something that they should do, is to give that type of feedback. So some of that was not well received because they were kind of like, well, why is the special ed team coming and telling us?
It even says in utilizing behavior support teams, that's what I wrote, and they're responsible for.
Right, and some counties have a behavior support team at every school. They have a BCBA on staff, and
And these are paid people, I'm assuming.
yeah, unfortunately, you guys know our situation.
That's what I'm asking, that's why.
So we do the
That's why I
best.
highlighted the whole paragraph actually, because I want to know who has to pay for that.
Yeah, we do the best with what we have. So our behavior team would consist of like our crisis team. So they are training for, like the crisis prevention training that I give them. So they're trained for that, even though it's not it's not the team that they're really talking about. They're really talking about like a BCBA that's on staff, a behavior interventionist that's on staff all the time. Some schools have those full time. Some counties have one for the whole county, but unfortunately we don't have one at all. But even if we try to post one, I'm not confident we can get one because there's not a lot of
I was the
training
behavior
for that around
That was
here.
the last one we had.
So, yeah. Any other questions about those recommendations?
That's my other thing.
Okay. All right. So we'll go to- All right, so the next. All right, so this, I believe, is your page 21, 22. So these, again, are the codes, all of the different components of the IEPs that they checked, and then how many they checked. So like out of 16, all of them had, all the IEPs have been reviewed within 365 days. So most of them, I'm happy with here. The annual goal, especially design instruction for student performance, they checked 17 and only 47.06% were compliant in their opinion. That's because you notice again that the specially designed instruction verbiage there. So here what they want us to do is go back and look at each student's individual accommodations and incorporate that into the goal. So instead of saying given math problems, it would be if their accommodation is a calculator, given a calculator and math problems, Susie will, complete those problems.
Expand on.
Yes. Same way for the supplementary services identified, they were identified in the IEP, but they were not supported by the specially designed instruction that the student needed. And that has to be written in the PLEP or the present level portion of the IEP. Same way, the extent frequency for supplementary services, some of them were not specific enough. So if it said shortened assignments, they wanted to know shortened by how much. So we had to go back and fix like 50% reduction in assignments greater than 20 items, something like that. You can see the rest of these were compliant. Any questions on those?
I saw, it's on page 23, over there. It says parental consent for initial evaluation or reevaluation.
And
70, and probably the parents just ignored you.
Right, and this is one that actually we cleared right away because once the student already has an IEP and they're in reeval, we send them the permission form to sign, but if they don't sign it, we send it 3 times and then I'm allowed to sign it and we can move on. We send prior written notice explaining to the parent that's what we've done.
So you just have to show your 3
Yes. And I had uploaded,
mailings.
yes, I had uploaded that, but they missed that. So I pointed that out and that was cleared right away for that portion. And then for the specially designed, specially designed services delivered as written, this is where they check the schedules. So some of the students, may have been pulled out for OT during the last 10 minutes of their English time or something like that. So that's something that we'll work on to make sure that that doesn't happen in the future. But, and all of these I've already corrected. I worked all summer and corrected all of those already. These are by the next page. I don't want to pull it up here because the students' names are listed. So we go to the next page on 25 through 30, I believe. Those are each IEP that was pulled and what the findings were for each of those. And I whited out the student's name, but you can see the ID number and the school of where they were at. And even though on site they came to 3 schools, when they pull the IEPs, they pull them from all 6 schools. And then they will do a second pull after October 9th. And they will review some IEPs again to be sure that none of the corrections that were in the red, they will double check to make sure all of those things are corrected for the new students' IEPs that are being written from the beginning of the year until October.
I saw that this one, it's on your page 27. It says notify parent of procedural errors and provide parent with a compliant. I'm sorry. I turned that thing off, but it won't shut up if it's low. With a compliant PWN.
Prior written notice is PWN.
Okay. Take the battery out of that.
Do you need a piece of candy?
I'm sorry.
Is it low?
A piece of candy will bring it up for a couple minutes and then it goes back down.
Wow.
So, but yeah, I love candy.
I'll have a piece.
You know, I'll cram about 10 pieces in my mouth. But I apologize.
You're fine. No, you're fine.
So what would have been wrong that they're notified, and it's the same one. I saw it 2 or 3 times in here where it said notify parent. What would have happened that
If for the PWN, it was because of the verbiage, some of them, a couple of the case managers had either written due to, and then they listed as a reason 2419, policy 2419, or IDEA, and they can't be that broad. It has to be based on each.
specifics?
Yes, each specific student. And then some of them, like for other considerations, they put none at this time, and we're not allowed to put none at this time. We have to always consider something else.
So these were certified special ed folks. And
Yeah, there were 2.
have they gone to some conferences or something to kind of help them get,
Beth's been training them
okay.
thoroughly.
We just had the PWN training about all of the updates for PWN on April 17th,
Okay,
and they were here in March. So I knew that would be something that would be, so I have a whole slide deck ready for them on Friday.
okay, well, your training would be very adequate. Okay,
Any other questions about any of the findings and things?
How often do they come and do an onsite?
Every 4 years.
4 years,
Yeah,
okay.
every 4 years.
Well, that's plenty.
Yes.
Explain to me one more, so I'm sorry,
You're fine.
but like I say, I was interested in this. It's like, it's on page 28, it's the top. It says amend IEP with parental agreement to explain the extent, if any, to which the student will not participate with non-exceptional peers.
Yes, on every IEP, there's the LRE section, which explains, like I was showing you
Least
earlier.
restrictive environment.
Right,
Mhm.
and most of them are zeros. And there's a statement, a justification statement, if the student is not with general ed peers. So the teachers have to write a statement in there explaining why they are not. So sometimes for our students with more cognitive disabilities, the most severe ones, they might not be with the gen ed staff because they're instructed on the alternate standards, something like that. The few that were flagged, they had a statement that said something like the student will receive services in the co-taught general ed environment. Well, because co-taught means special ed teachers in there, that's why I got flagged. So we just had to take out that and say the student will receive all services in the general ed environment. And it really depends on the monitoring team. So we had things like that exact verbiage before the last monitoring team was signed. Because even though it's co-taught, it is in the general ed environment, but this particular team was a little more picky on some of the things like that.
So is whoever did this evaluation, is he or she who does them all over the state?
Yes.
Those in their State Department officials.
Yes, ma'am.
And if I'm correct, they actually told Mrs. Barr that we were one of the better audits that they had had. So it looks like a lot,
Yes. Yeah, I was like, oh my God.
but it's, easily repaired and, fixed.
Well,
Obviously,
they shouldn't be so ugly to people. We should send them back to that.
Well,
What was that one thing that said that, it couldn't all be negative?
right. Well, that's been at the exit meetings with the principals, they talked about positives, and we've discussed this with my CASE group, the Council for Administrators for Special Education. We meet with the state and give them recommendations or suggestions, and we've asked that they include some of the positives in the report. Because we're sharing with the stakeholders, parents and things, so it's nice to have some of the positives listed as well.
Sure.
Instead of just all of the negative things.
Sure, and, I really agree with that because it's like, gee, you feel like you'd want to just throw the towel in,
Right.
and she didn't want us doing that to the students, and she shouldn't do it to us.
Right.
You can tell her Dixie Jean.
yeah, let's go.
We can invite her, Dixie can tell her herself. Yeah. Thank you, Mrs. Barr, for all your work.
Look for every
Excellent.
little picky.
Yeah, that was a lot of useful information for us. It took some time to weed through it, I can
Yeah.
tell you that. And
Sad part, your summer break's almost over, and you obviously spent most of them on that.
She sure did.
Absolutely.
She sure.
But I wanted to make sure that special ed teachers, when they come back, I want to make sure that the expectations are clear with everything, so I didn't want to have questions about, golly, what should
Thank
it look
you.
like, or what should it not look like.
Good work.
no public comment?
No.
Next on the agenda is consent items.
Move to approve.
Second.
Properly moved in second for the consent items. Any discussion on any of those attachments 1 through 4?
Found your pennies, didn't you?
Yep.
Congratulations. You didn't think I noticed, did you?
Hearing none. Proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Vote is 5-0. Next on the agenda is unfinished business, financial updates, attachment 5. Sarah?
Expenditure by object report that we always go over as of July 31st, 2026. This is just starting off the new year again, so currently we're still working in 2 years at the moment. So this is just getting us started in FY '27. So you'll notice that none of the salaries are encumbered as of yet. That'll come later. We'll get those encumbered. So this is just giving you, we usually budget as well as we can based off what we know will change or what has changed. And then a lot of it is just a guessing game. Will the repairs go up? Will the cost of food go up? And, just trying to make sure we're covered. So this is just pretty much doing that, and we'll adjust it as we do as the year goes on and things change. We need to make adjustments here or there. Does anybody have any questions specifically? You'll see those encumbrances on there sometime by the 1st of October, or around October.
So what did we end up having left over from,
I'm still working on that. It'll probably be middle of September before
okay,
I can give you that answer for sure. It does look like we are going to not need as much to cover child nutrition as we originally thought, so that looks good.
good.
I think it's still around 547,000, but
It's not 740,000.
not 700,000, which is what we kind of thought it was gonna.
We were worried there for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, until I get all of those numbers, I mean, that's what I've been working on, but until I get all of those numbers done and everything put in, I won't have that exact number.
I
for
see you
yet.
got a reserve up a little bit.
Yeah, and now that's assuming that'll potentially adjust once I get the year end completed, and then that year end rolls forward. So it's possible that amount will have to be adjusted, but that's what we had predicted it to be around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone have anything else?
I have a couple other things,
Okay.
but some of it might be, is the insurance on here later?
Dental vision,
Yeah,
yep.
so new
I won't
business.
go over it right now, but I do have, maybe. This was the financial analysis that they gave out at our state meeting this summer. And I just wanted to go over a couple of the numbers on it, just to give you guys a.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Sarah. No, she can have it.
She can
I've
have
seen
this
it.
one.
I have a
just
copy
wanted-
on my desk. I'm good.
I just wanted to point out, this was just they did one for each county, just their little analysis they do at the year end. So I just thought it was good to see like our per pupil expenditures that it shows there. Of course, FY '26 has not been completed yet, so they don't have any documentation for that. But the last report that I saw that had come out on per pupil expenditures, we were actually at the bottom of that report.
For the whole state.
For the whole state, even including charter schools and all. Now, part of that's due to not having the extra funds to, like a levy, we don't have the excess levy, we don't have that coming in. So it's twofold. It's kind of sad that more money isn't spent on our students, but at the same time, it shows that we're not just spending money. We're trying to
Fiscally
spend.
responsible.
We're trying to spend responsible. We are, because this takes into account all expenditures. So, salaries, resources, supplies, utilities, maintenance, everything, what is per pupil, spent on our students. So I just wanted you guys to see that and the other numbers there. You can look down through that. And then if you flip to the other side, just to touch base again on how we're always talking about personnel season and not to start so early, but the total number of personnel employed in excess of the funding there for FY '26 was 15.344. And now they also, they look at all of it. So they take into account not only what we're over, but also the positions that are not we receive zero funded for, like, for instance, my position that's required by state, but you receive zero funding to pay for my position. That's included there, as well as, the extra days. So any extra days are also included here, so
Above 200.
above 200.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this gives you a clear cut number of what we are over and above the funding formula.
That's good information.
Yeah, I just wanted you guys to see that. And then we also got, the compiled financial statements back for the schools. I think I usually give you guys the little findings for the schools. Let me get those. You're welcome.
No
Thank you.
bad.
I think the last couple, I don't know why I picked these colors. I think the last couple of years I've been using these same colors. Blue for anything that they had the prior year that they fixed, yellow for anything new, and green for anything that has been ongoing. You'll see across the board at the top, everybody has segregation of duties. That's something that we're not going to be able to fix, short of hiring an additional person and putting them in the office and having two secretaries so the duties can be separated or segregated between the two. We're not going to be able to fix that. And obviously it's not something that we can afford to do. So in order to help with that sum, we have pulled, as we've gone over before, we pulled the bank reconciliations in here. So Peggy helps me do the bank reconciliations for all the schools each month. We look through it closer just to kind of help show that there is more oversight. We go out into this, I usually try to go out into the schools once a month, just look over a few things, and then we started scheduling secretary meetings quarterly. We meet with them, and I really do think those meetings have been beneficial for everybody. And they seem to feel good about those and appreciate those as well. But unfortunately, segregation of duties is not something that we're
Yeah,
going to be
you're
able to
never
get
gonna
rid
change
of
that.
at that level.
If we get it down, that's the only problem, then we'll be good.
Now, we were able to get it off of our audit as a county by doing those extra steps, so that was a good thing. And it never hurts to be there and be involved and have
That's
more
true.
oversight anyway.
What do you think that Moorfield High, their issues were? Was that change of staff?
Mhm.
That's what I was thinking.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that'll improve.
I think that will improve.
Yeah.
The one that all on the Moorfield side received for the change of the bank account, we had discussed that, and maybe that's my fault and I wasn't as clear on that. When they transferred from Burke and Herbert to Grant County Bank, when we had done the bid and they had won the bid and we transferred those, they receipted it. They thought they were doing the right thing by having a paper trail. But what that does is just, and it's not anything major,
Right.
just when you do that, it shows it as income and then it shows it as an expense. So you've made your income and expenditures look overstated. So that was what that one was. I'm not concerned about that one at all.
Right.
We hardly, I mean, that's,
It's not a big deal. Yeah.
changing bank is not something we do often, and it's nothing that affects anything really.
Well, I think the others will correct themselves.
The others will
other
correct
than going
themselves, and
down.
of course, the two high schools received the one about the number of people selling and collecting tickets, and that's
Right.
something that we can't,
It's gonna happen.
it's gonna happen. We don't have enough volunteers, and 5 times is not much. I get it, I understand it. You know, because the theory is the more you're in there and the more you do something, the more comfortable you get that something could happen. But it's hard to find people to volunteer with all of the number of games.
If you only had one sport, you could
If
do
you
it.
only had one sport, it'd be fine, but I mean, you're talking boys, girls,
Right.
lots of sports. That's hard to do. So none of them, I mean, I think we'll get some of Moorfield High School straightened up and cleared up. And nothing about the other ones concern me, so we'll pay some attention there and make sure. And it does seem to be going well
Mhm.
over there.
It does.
Things seem good, so. Anyone have any questions on this?
Thanks, Sue. Next on the agenda.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Approval of pre-K contract, attachment 6.
Move to approve.
Second.
Properly moved and second to approve the pre-K contract, attachment 6. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? The vote is 5-0. New business, approval of dental and vision insurance, attachment 7.
Move to approve.
Second.
Properly moved and second for the approval of dental and vision insurance, attachment 7. Sarah, did you have some information for that?
I was just gonna give you what I have as far as, Guardian came back, with the renewal at about 10,000 more than Renaissance and Emeritus, however you say that. I don't know much about those. We did call around today just to some of our local, eye doctors and dentists in the area. Everybody that we talked to did accept both. There was a couple that we couldn't get through to, but, just kind of did, some of the more, the bigger ones in the area and touch base with them. They do accept Guardian and they do also accept Renaissance. I don't know I don't know how hard it is on individuals when you change insurance. I don't know if it's a,
Well, $10,000 is a chunk of money.
yeah.
Yeah, it is. It still amazes me the amount of claims that aren't being processed, you
Oh,
know?
yeah.
When you look down those lists, it's like, my gosh, this insurance is free for you. Why aren't you using it? It seems like the employees use it, but the families aren't using the ones that have the families.
I don't know. I don't get
I
it
don't
either. 'Cause
understand it.
the Van Meter family takes full advantage.
Well, right.
They're tired of seeing us.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, and I always hate that we have to make a decision now without it going through the year end, so you can see a full year
Right.
of what's been used and what's been done.
I wish the board could use it.
I second that.
Yeah.
I wish the board could use it. I had a cleaning lasted $165.
Oh, yeah, it's expensive. Agree.
So your suggestion
so our-
possibly we go with Renaissance?
Well, that was our representative's suggestion, and I'm assuming that she wouldn't have made that suggestion if Renaissance was not a
Yeah.
big company.
Well, I mean, we need to because, we're counting pennies.
And I can read you what she said here. She said, our recommendation would be to move to Renaissance. They have a 3% increase on the dental and matched plan design. Division, they matched your current rates, plan design, and network stays the same as well. Moving to Renaissance also gives you a 2-year lock on rates.
It's helpful too,
Yeah.
to know
That's
that.
good.
So is this something we can vote on, or just? I make a motion, we move to Renaissance.
Second.
Properly moved and second to change from Guardian to Renaissance. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The vote is 5-0. Next on the agenda, approval of standard of dress for Hardy County staff, policy GBZB.
Say it again.
Second.
Properly moved and second to approve the standard of dress for Hardy Counties, attachment 8. Any discussion on that? This is for first reading, correct?
Mhm.
Any discussion on that?
Who is to determine what is professional dress at each school?
the principal, the supervisor in the building.
Is there any way that we can recommend that jeans and t-shirts are not professional?
Well, it's your policy. You can take jeans and t-shirts out of there. But you have a lot of folks that wear like dark jeans with a dress shirt. You can do it. You can do what you want to do.
Well, I'm just observation.
Yeah.
A lot of our teachers, many of our teachers, I think are very casual and don't dress professionally. I don't know how that can be changed because we've become a more casual society and everything is accepted. But it's just the old fashioned me.
I understand.
You know, I'm from the day
I
when
understand.
women dressed and didn't have t-shirts and tight jeans and men, well, and holes, yes. And men wore at least a dress shirt and tie and didn't come to school in tracksuits and sweatshirts. And I would like to see us somehow try to implement a little bit more professionalism.
So this policy, as you can see, is more restrictive than what you had before. And I
Right.
brought that to you because, you know, just even hygiene and things like that have become an issue in the last couple years. So this is to tighten it up. And this language comes from the state employees guidance that are for state employees in West Virginia. So this is their language.
I know it very specifically says the Board of Education expects all employees to dress in a professional manner that is appropriate to the job assignment.
Mhm.
But again, what I consider to be professional doesn't always chime with,
Sure.
you know, somebody else's idea of what is professional.
And that'll be the case no matter what you put in there. That's going to be the
True.
That's going to be the case.
It's always gonna be someone that's gonna push it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, we have a variety of people working for us. I mean, you have to think from maintenance employees, bus drivers,
Sure.
custodians, to kindergarten teachers who get on the floor, to, you know, the principal, to the science teacher, to me. I mean, so you've got a variety of people, and I think it's hard to break down each of those into a category to say you can wear. I mean, you would want your maintenance guys to be able to wear something of a jean material that's, you know,
Well,
they can get
appropriate to the
different.
job.
right. So it's
Appropriate
hard
the
to,
job is what it says.
and that's how it's designed to be that way.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's good that you specifically said about, you know, stuff can't have holes in it and all
We've had that the last year,
Right,
that.
right.
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, this is a good
You
base
got to
starting
be
point.
careful because the purpose of the job depends on the job. And when you're in a shop and you're teaching welding and you're wearing a polyester pants or shirt, you're going to catch yourself on fire.
Well,
So we got to be careful with the language. And I think what's written there is pretty appropriate.
Yeah.
as long as people would abide by what is written there and dress appropriately according to his or her job. I wouldn't expect someone in the shop teaching welding to be in there in a suit. I mean, that's, you know, unreasonable.
You know, I wouldn't expect a gym teacher to have suit and tie, but I would expect, you know, the science teacher to be.
At least have a dress shirt and tie, or,
I remember Mr. Parks, God bless his soul, he wouldn't wear a tie. Because he told us one time when he was younger, he got his tie caught in a gear.
Sure.
right.
So I definitely
That's
agree.
true. And I've had the same thing when I was younger. And that's
I
why I
remember-
stopped wearing ties. You've got to be careful about being so specific about no blue jeans or no this or that. Because then you're getting to a dress code, and I think we fought that battle several years ago.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The vote is 5-0. Next on the agenda, approval of critical need shortage substitute teachers policy. GCBA Attachment 9.
Second.
Properly moved and second to approve policy GCBA Attachment 9. Any discussion?
I'll just say, just for clarification, this policy gets approved every year, and it has to be approved by you so it can be sent to the State Department. And they approve critical needs, which are the areas that are italicized there, based on unfilled positions or positions that we have filled with an unqualified, uncertified person, long-term sub. So those positions that are listed there, that means that you could hire a retired person, and that retired person can work more than their 140 days. They could work the full
That's right.
position for the year. And so that's why this position, am I missing anything else with that? That's why this is important.
Any discussion? Other? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign. The vote is 5-0. Next on the agenda, approval of financial procedures and operations, DBA Attachment 10.
Move to accept.
Second.
Properly and moved and second to approve policy DBA Attachment 10. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The vote is 5-0. Next on the agenda, approve.
Hold on just a second. I didn't get my hand up high enough as I was turning. It's on page 80. Is this going out for first read?
Yes.
I could hit it for second, I guess, but anyway, it's in the top there where it says county directs all school. And number 1 is 2 people shall count. And I added in there and sign all cash funds collected by the organization so that you're supposed to have 2 people to do it. We'll have 2 people sign it.
2 people shall count.
And so they're verifying what amount is there. I think that would be better.
Yeah, let me rip it out.
Anything else on that before we move on? Next on the agenda, approval of letter of interest regarding cell tower placement on school property, Attachment 11.
Move to approve.
I second.
Properly moved in second for the Attachment 11. Discussion?
Do we know what carrier is gonna be on it, and if we do we know fiber optic will be on it, and,
This letter, you approving this just gives us permission to basically say we would like to learn more about this.
Well,
That's all this is doing.
the only concern I had on that was after reading this here, it says express a good faith interest in advancing towards a definite excluded lease agreement.
It just means we'd have to bring it to the board for a vote. So once we send a letter of interest, if we advance towards a good faith interest, it means that the board would have to hear and entertain and either vote yes or no. We'd have to see that through as a yes or no vote. And you can say no today. We don't have to do this. I don't have big feelings about it.
Yeah.
I was telling Oscar, when I saw it on the agenda, and we talked about it, and then I shared this material with him. And he doesn't think that it's legal for us to do that, but they say that they do all that.
We can
but
definitely
they
have
do it
have an
with-
attorney.
with schools, but because we're using public property to gain private funds.
The place that comes to mind here is East Hardy, because our campus doesn't have any cell service over there.
And
So
that's where they want to do it.
I have no idea. I mean, I've had 0 conversations. They just sent this to us. We have not communicated anymore. And until it was
Well,
signed, I wasn't prepared to
God
do
bless
that.
them. That's
But-
wonderful they don't have cell service.
Well, except for in an emergency
or somebody
situation.
Hurt, lying in the field and they're dying,
Well,
and you can't
sure,
call out.
sure. But I mean, as far as the school, and the kids having phones and
Should
all
be in your
that.
locker.
They still have their phones out.
I agree.
But,
Well,
They do.
that's
If
my
the
interest.
tower's instructing, they can't get anybody to lease on it, you're still in the same position. There are several towers in the county that they can't get carriers on.
Okay.
So that's something to think about.
Totally up to you guys.
Yeah.
Completely.
Well,
Is there any idea how many towers they're talking about?
No idea.
The print says one mono. A monopole is either a concrete or a steel pole.
Oh,
It's usually
okay.
equipped with a chicken, what they would call chicken ladders or man bolts.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like you can only get one or you can tell them you're interested in multiple or, and you can say, no, thank you.
What you do,
we're
you
good."
had, I was actually a foreman under Dominion Power, of course, the cell site division.
Okay.
So I did cell sites for a little over 4 years. I've built these things blindfolded. With a monopole, it gives you the option of doing different carriers. You might have T-Mobile on top, you drop down 20 feet, you have US Cellular. You drop down to 15 foot, you have what's called a microwave and picks up the 911 center.
Okay.
I built these things all over Northern Virginia.
If those carriers elect to,
I mean, I'd like to see T-Mobile start working.
Right. Just make the ones we
well,
currently
that's the
have.
other thing that concerns me too, with all the
Yeah,
towers that
T-Mobile,
don't have
they
now.
don't.
Yeah,
better
know what's
than-
gonna work, what's not.
Apparently,
Yeah.
T-Mobile is-
Well, we,
I-
I mean, it doesn't hurt us to talk with them. And I'll look up that other and see if there's a statute or whatever. Oscar said that he would see about a statute about,
Yeah, it says,
Private.
and it says down here, this is non-binding on either party. No legal obligations, commitments, or rights shall arise from this letter.
Right.
right.
So it's,
I'm also thinking of hot spots for the students if they're doing anything else beside the school building for Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just
There could be
intriguing.
some advantages to it, you
And
know.
unfortunately, they're not gonna leave the phones in their locker like Miss Rose said.
projection back and forth.
But you have to have carriers that will pay to be on the tower first. I mean, the tower's not gonna do you any good if you don't have the carrier.
So take up space.
Right.
Be an eyesore.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Aye.
Sorry.
Is that for opposed?
Yes.
Roy was opposed, okay, yeah. Okey doke.
All right, next on the agenda, approval of application for permission of use of Hardy County Schools Facility, attachment 12.
I have questions.
Move to approve.
Second.
Properly moved in second to approve application for permission of Hardy County Schools, attachment 12. Discussion.
It says local vendors, food trucks, and entertainment will be provided in conjunction with any student-led business that are available to be open during the event. What restroom facilities are they going to have? Who's going to be in charge of cleaning the restrooms if we let them use the restrooms in the pad?
So we have restrooms out there on that
Correct.
pad. And this is in conjunction with our CTE program. So our CTE folks had asked the town to come in and set up and help run this. And because the town was coming on site, we told them they had to do the form, even though they didn't ask us to do it. They had to do the form and get the insurance and all of that stuff. So whoever typically cleans up that site out there, which at this point I believe is the students primarily, they would be responsible for cleaning up any of the mess.
So they
And it's
have
on a
to clean-
football game
It's
night,
on
right?
football, yeah.
Yeah, it's a football, yeah, the
So
tailgate.
if the students pick up any trash, pick up.
Yeah,
any
those kids would
debris,
have to clean it
the
up.
Restrooms,
It would have to be cleaned up by the
hand
group
washing
using it.
stations, obviously we're having food, we're gonna have places to wash hands, I would hope.
Is this in any
No, I don't know
way-
that there's a hand washing station out there, but it'd be
If they're
just like
serving
any
food, it has to be
food
somewhere
truck.
For a hygiene level.
I'm not sure. Just like we don't have any hand washing. I mean, you have the bathrooms, but just like at the football game, you go through the concession stand. I don't know that there are going to be, just so we're clear, I don't know that there will be separate hand washing stations. You just kind of count on everybody to take care of themselves like they normally
We have
do.
multiple vendors there. We're gonna have just one ladies' room, one men's room.
I don't know that you're going to have pile of people doing this and needing access to the bathroom, because they could also walk around then into the football field, which is where they're going to after the game, and use the restrooms there. They could open the side of the building. I mean, you're going to have adults there running this too, so I'd imagine they could let you in the side of the building if you needed that many.
I just know
'Cause
adults
it's
are
what,
worse than students as far as
3
littering
to
and making
8?
a mess. It's
Oh, they do that no
nothing
matter
but-
what part of our buildings they
No matter
use.
what, there's nothing to
Yeah.
see an adult eat a sandwich, wrap up the thing and flip it out.
Yeah, I would hope that wouldn't happen on school property, but you'll have some trash, I'm sure.
I was just wondering who was responsible for cleaning everything, because it was the custodians. I didn't think that was fair. But
No, if they are going to use the custodian, huh?
That's our coordinator.
Yeah, the coordinator, our CTE coordinator, Bethany Jennings, that we have hired, that works that lot out there during the day with our kids. She's the one that made the request. So she would be there overseeing everybody, just like one of the employees would.
Is this gonna step on, the boosters in any way?
It's a school-run event, so
But I
I don't-
didn't know if the boosters, do they have a concession stand?
they
now?
do the concession inside, yeah.
Yeah,
We tend to let the students and the school do their stuff, and then the boosters comes as a secondary support. So I'm sure they'll let them know, just so they can prepare, but it wouldn't be one of those things we would ask their permission to do, because school would get the preference on that.
There's no issues for-profit businesses operating on there, is it?
It'd be no different than Heritage Weekend vendors coming in. It's operating under that same premise. It's a fun, like an event of the school where they're inviting those people to come in.
the
So
girl with the, coffee this summer.
same
That was
difference.
for coffee.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun, actually.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
I
Opposed? Opposed? You vote or no?
I'm staying amid from that one.
You gonna abstain? Is that what you're
I'm
saying?
abstaining from voting on that because I just have a bad feeling people are going to be disrespectful to the property. I'm not gonna vote no, and I'm not gonna vote yes. I'm just not gonna vote.
It's okay.
The
You got that
vote
right.
is 4 yeas and 1
One
abstain.
abstention, yeah.
Next on the agenda, board member and superintendent discussion. No action may be taken.
Okay, I'm gonna hand out they're in order there, I think, if you take yours off the top.
Okay, thank you.
SSAC cards laminated. Mr. Harper, we'll get you to sign your SSAC card the next time you're here, and we'll laminate it for you.
Very good, thank you.
So you can have it,
Thank
yes, absolutely. The levy conversation that we need to have as far as whether or not we are going to put that back on the ballot. So I've been in conversation with Loretta at the county clerk's office, and it is her understanding that we have 71 days before the election that we can have that levy order approved. We calculated that today, and that's on the 24th, I think. Is that right, Sarah? That Monday? So I would like to have a special meeting on Wednesday to act upon that. I'm going to tell you what my opinion is. It is absolutely your, prerogative to vote however you would like to vote. I've talked to some, there's no good way to get data on what people would or wouldn't, other than just, again, taking feedback. So the folks that I've talked to, some professionals that work in our community, said that they felt very strongly that the levy would be supported by more people if we took off everything except for the personnel that we need. So no admission into athletic events, no the money that was going to our employees, the interventionists came out.
A little bit that was for maintenance and repairs.
Maintenance and repairs came out. So the only thing left was the one category, and that was the $1.3 million annually, which was for, let me take those down, pass them. Take one down, pass it around. That was the money that was just to secure those positions that were over formula up to 20 people. So with that being said, we went in and we reduced it, and it cut back about 50%. About maybe a little bit more, but a little bit more than 50% of what the overall levy was going to be. So if you calculated what you were going to pay out of pocket, cut it in half, and that would be your new amount, at least. So my suggestion to you before you enter personnel season, which is going to be not a good time, would be to put this back out on the November ballot and give it one more shot modified with based upon the feedback that people gave. I don't know that it will pass. I don't know that you're going to get enough votes with the changes to pass it, but I do think that we owe it to our employees to try one more time for their sake, especially the ones that will be, RIFed or transferred. And that would be my request. Now, what you have is a rough draft. And so the reason that I'm asking, we didn't have it on the agenda today. We need to put it on an agenda. You got a special meeting notice today that came out a little bit earlier. I'd like to meet on Wednesday at 9 a.m. And this is one of the things that we would need to discuss that day and vote on whether or not it would approve. There is a possibility when I talk to Loretta in the morning that she needs it by tomorrow at end of day. So I'm going to send her, after I correct the language in here, the financial piece is all corrected, but I have to go back and change it where we were talking about the items and the multiple things we were doing. I have to go back and make those singular. So that's the language. Please, Mrs. Rose, don't grade it. No red pens. Just don't even read it. Just look at the numbers. Don't even read it. You'll be so embarrassed and ashamed of me. But I wanted you to have the basics of it so you had a reference point. And then what I will do is email that out to you first thing in the morning after I'm coming in early just to get it all corrected out so the language is correct, and then I will send that to you. We have a meeting at 10 a.m. tomorrow with Tom Piercy, who's the Bowles Rice attorney that does the orders. He's going to give us the go-ahead. We'll send it to the state auditor's office as well, which usually should come back the same day or soon after. I'd like to have you guys have a special meeting if you want to officially consider it on Wednesday at 9 a.m. so that we can get it to Loretta shortly thereafter so that the county commission can meet, I believe, on Friday to approve it to go on the ballot. And they're just approving it to be added to the ballot. They don't have a say in what the actual levy order says, but they do have to approve it to get it on the ballot. So that's what that is.
Well, it isn't costing anything to do it, to run it, that's for sure. And there are a few other things on the agenda, I believe, that we need to take care of
On Wednesday.
also.
Yeah. There are.
Any other discussion on that?
Let me see if I had anything else. I think that's all. Oh, Sean got your sports schedules that Dixie had requested for everybody.
Oh, good.
You can take one of
Thank you
those
so
and
much.
pass them around.
I'm glad you requested that, Dixie.
Yeah, I mean, you used to get those little cards.
Yeah, in the folder, remember Warfield High School folder, you open it up, you had the three little
Don't anymore.
schedules.
And then the only other thing is just a reminder, all employees return to work tomorrow. So we'll have everybody back in for a week of lots of different trainings and sessions that are going on across all of our schools. And we want to wish them well. And then our students return a week from Tuesday. They will return on the 25th. And so our school buses will be back on the roads and picking up kids. So that's an important reminder to everybody to be prepared for that. And I have one other thing that can wait till the very end. We can do personnel, but I do have a personnel matter that I need to update you on that we'll need to go into executive session for at that time.
Okay. I just had a couple little things by being around the county. You see things all the time. The rail fence at Moorfield Middle needs some work. It's falling down. The post is falling over. The rails are slipping out. It's not going to take much to fix it, but it does look bad with what we spent on the track. The fence at East Hardy Elementary, where the buses park, has been backed into several times. With the work that they've done on the concession stands and over there, it makes that even look worse now. So
Okay.
if that could be addressed before the buses get back next week would be wonderful.
We'll ask for that.
And just one other little pet peeve I have is there's trash in the launch pad in that corner where it comes out on this Monroe Street or whatever that is. Trash and leaves and all that's been in there for a year probably. And if we're going to have functions over there, it needs to be cleaned up and looks presentable. It just looks trashy.
Okay.
Nothing major, but
No, thank you.
don't mean to be picking, but it's just.
A question when I was looking at the bills. Remember I said, gee, did the phone bill go up? A couple meetings ago, I saw where in 715 that the phone bill at Moorfield Elementary School, I'll give you this and you can look, was $136.99. Moorfield Middle School, $136.99. You come to August 1st, and it's $198.56 for Moorfield Middle School. And it's like must have been an extra line or something, and
We have a few moving around. Did we run any extra?
I don't think we ran any extra lines. We just moved Moorfield Middle.
yeah, Moorfield Middle's where there was, because I didn't have a clear picture of what all it was, so. But it was on those invoices that we approved, and it's like, I thought that it was my understanding that we supply the school with one line.
Yeah, I don't know why that would have changed, but we can certainly
And
find out.
Should all pretty much be,
We don't pay a one-time annual fee of some kind, do we?
and then I saw the Ethernet fee, and I don't know how often that's charged.
A fee or?
That was an invoice that we paid for Ethernet,
We'll
and
find
that
out.
was the
We'll have to ask
day.
Barbie. Yeah, she'll know.
So,
Okay, we'll do some digging on that.
Anything else on that? Future agenda items? Anyone have anything? Hearing none, announcements, August 30, we'll have a special meeting on Wednesday then.
Yes,
at
which is the
9
19th,
o'clock.
9 a.m. And in an event of an emergency, I will call you tomorrow and tell you that we need to have an emergency meeting tomorrow afternoon, which we can do by phone. I could just get you all on the phone because it would simply be, yes, we're going to run that
Right.
levy again. If I find out tomorrow that has to happen, I'll text everybody and let you know, and then let you know a call in time, and we'll get you called in.
Good deal.
And I'm sorry for that. I apologize that might be a possibility. It's not how I like to do things.
Next regular meeting, August 31st, 5 p.m. here at the board office. Next on the agenda, mission statements and accomplishments. I'm going to thank Mrs. Barr and Mrs. Campbell for the excellent presentation this evening. That was some very useful information that we haven't had.
yeah, I agree.
Just about bored me to death reading it, I must say. But now I understand it much better since you discussed it with us, and we certainly appreciate that. Next on the agenda is personnel. Is there a need to go in before we go over the sheet, or?
Not for me, unless someone else needs to go in prior to me going over the sheet. What I need to discuss with you isn't on the sheet. It is a personnel matter that
Okay,
involves disciplines.
hearing none, I guess you can proceed.
All right. I would recommend the approval of the service personnel hirings as follows. Emily Pierce, substitute aide and substitute cook, countywide. Rebecca Smith, substitute aide and substitute secretary. Amy Moyers, substitute aide. Sandra Bradley, aide for special education, MIS. Ashley McNeil, autism mentor aide, East Hardy High School. I recommend the approval of service personnel extracurricular hirings for Lisa Walker, school bus operator for extracurricular bus run number 1, and Ralph Rinker, school bus operator for extracurricular bus run number 2. Recommend the approval of the professional personnel hirings as follows. Elizabeth Evans, substitute teacher, countywide. Katie Branson, substitute teacher, countywide. Dawn Dolan, ProStart teacher, Moorfield High School. Tanya Vance, music teacher, East Hardy Elementary School, MIS. And then Elizabeth Evans, long-term substitute teacher for chemistry science at Moorfield High School. And Christina Coley, long-term substitute special education teacher, EHHS. Recommend the approval of professional personnel extracurricular hirings of Robin C., County School Improvement Leadership Team, countywide. William Hours, Leadership Team, MHS, and Megan Mace, EL Academic Support Instructor for Extended Day. Recommend the approval of the following athletic hirings. Lexi Stroderman, game manager for 7th and 8th grade at East Hardy High School. Douglas Wilson, coach for boys basketball, 7th and 8th grade at East Hardy High School. Attakilt Tamaru, authorized certified coach without pay for boys soccer, Moorfield High School. Jared Ratchford, authorized certified coach without pay for football, Moorfield High School. I recommend the approval of the letters of agreement for Rebecca Haynes, ECAT 8, East Hardy Elementary, regarding the forfeiture of her duty-free lunch, option 1. And I recommend the approval of Terry Miller as custodian, East Hardy High School, letter of agreement regarding changing hours from 3 to 11 to 2 to 10. I recommend the approval of the following volunteers: Joyce Stroderman, volunteer, East Hardy Elementary School, and Mervyn Pope Jr., volunteer team support personnel for football at Moorfield High School. I recommend the approval of the following resignations: Rebecca Smith, aide for special education, MIS, Kimberly Sherman as a substitute teacher, Patrick McGregor, principal at Moorfield Intermediate School, Susan Garrett, substitute teacher, Edgar Lambert, custodian at MES, Emily Pierce, aide, special education, MIS, Ashley Lipscomb, ECAT aide, MES, and Beverly Mathias, substitute teacher, countywide.
Move to approve the superintendent's recommendation.
Second. Properly moved and second to approve the superintendent's recommendations on personnel actions. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? The vote is 5-0. Is there a motion to go into executive session? And
So
the reason- And the reason?
Second.
For personnel. Personnel discipline.
Properly moved and second to go into executive session for personnel actions. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? The vote is 5-0. Show us in an executive session at 7:05.
Did we have to make any kind of vote or anything? Unless you-
Nope, just a motion to come out of executive session.
Not
yeah.
tonight.
No, it's all,
Okay, thank you.
Ready?
Motion to come out of executive session.
second.
Properly moved and come out of executive session. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. The vote is 4-0. Show us out of executive session at 7:24.
Is Roy not here?
Phone's hung up. Anything else needs to become before the board this evening?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Properly moved and second to adjourn. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. The vote is 4-0. Show us adjourned at 7:24. Here's just some South Branch information.